Just a few short years ago, I was 6 figures in debt and struggling to get ahead. Now, fast forward to today, and I've built a multiple 7-figure business. And I've discovered what really separates the successful people from those who stay stuck and struggling for years is not intelligence, talent, or getting lucky. They've simply figured out how to get there much, much faster. And these are the 5 steps anyone can take starting today to start succeeding faster. Starting with step number 1. Find a source of inspiration. I want you to think about your inspiration level on a daily basis and what you're actually doing. Inspiration is an internal state of heightened clarity, energy, and drive that's triggered by exposure to meaningful ideas, role models, or experiences. Inspiration is that something pulling you forward. The word itself comes from inspire, which literally means to breathe into. So for me, that source of inspiration has always been books. I love reading new things. I'm always learning new things. I'm learning old things in new ways. And I'm not even a good reader. In fact, if you looked at me as a child, I struggled to read when I was little. But I understand how important it is to fill my brain with inspiration that causes me to think about things in new ways, which causes me to have the energy to go faster. You can't do anything from a well of low inspiration. You can't create content. You can't solve bigger problems. You cannot do anything if your well of inspiration is empty. And so this is where most people get completely stuck. They're frustrated that everything they're doing and working on isn't working, it's taking a long time, no one's following them, no one's buying, no one's paying attention. But here's the reality, people don't care just because you did something today. They don't care just because you showed up. They care because you gave them something valuable and something that causes them to be inspired today. And that only happens when you yourself start by being inspired. And so if all you're doing is recycling tired ideas that you're not connected to, or begging for attention and trying to get people to notice what you're doing, people are going to tune out. Imagine your growth like this. Growth works like a battery. You can't expect to keep running and go faster when your battery is sitting at 5%. And so you have to decide, I'm going to plug into something that recharges me. That could be books, that could be podcasts, that could be conversations or coaching, whatever it is that lights you up. When your battery's charged, it allows you to go faster. You show up sharper and you have the ability to keep going long after your competitors have had to stop and rest and slow down. And so when everything inside of you feels dead and feels like it's not working, it feels like you're dragging your feet through the mud. Step number 2, initiate action before you're ready. Listen to me. Waiting kills more dreams than failure ever does. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard people say things to me like, I'm still working on my book. And 3 years go by and you check in with them. I'm still working on that book. What? I'm going to start this business one day once things settle down. But the reality is things never settle down. And so if you're waiting for that perfect moment, you will be waiting forever. I remember the day I tried to learn how to drive a stick shift in the middle of a parking lot at Michigan State University when I was in college. And so if you've ever learned how to drive a stick, you know that the hardest part isn't once you're cruising. The hardest part of driving a stick is actually getting the car to roll forward from a dead stop without stalling the vehicle. In the beginning, what are all the things you have to think about? The clutch, the gas, the brake. You have to think about all of these things at once. And at first, you try to release the clutch and then you stall out. And it's frustrating. And you start thinking, man, I'm not good at this. This is not working. This is taking way too long. But the only way to learn to stop stalling is to keep starting. And eventually, your brain and your foot figure it out. But you're never going to get there if you sit there with the engine idling in the car sitting in your driveway. And this is exactly how life works. Thinking about the thing is always scarier than actually doing the thing. Once you're moving, it's so much easier to keep moving because what starts in motion stays in motion. And so for most people, the ones that I know who break through and who are going the fastest, they're the ones who aren't waiting until everything is perfect. In fact, they don't even know how to do the thing and they're just starting. They're the ones who decide to take action now, and then they figure it out along the way. This is one of the biggest secrets to going faster. It's going to feel scary. You're not going to feel ready. Start before you're ready. Step number 3, iterate quickly. What does that mean? It means shorten the feedback loop. If you want to go faster, you've got to shorten your feedback loop. Most people drag out their learning and wait too long to ever figure out what's not working and change what they're doing. And so the gap between where you are right now and where you want to be, it's not about talent and that you're just more talented than other people or the other people are more talented you and that's why they're getting there faster. Is that they've shortened their feedback loop. The faster you get feedback, the faster you grow. You don't learn to grow a business by sitting on YouTube for months. How do you learn to grow a business? Putting your business out there, putting the offer out there, and seeing what happens and getting feedback on it and then fixing it. You don't get better at speaking by preparing forever in front of the mirror. You get better by doing the thing, booking the workshop, speaking for 20 minutes, and then watching the replay back and seeing what landed and what didn't. And every cycle gives you that new data, and that data is what makes you sharper. Think about learning a new language. Yes, you can spend months with books and language apps and memorizing flashcards and repeating phrases into your phone. But if you talk to people who have learned multiple languages over their lifetime, they will tell you the fastest way to learn the language is to go where the people are and then immerse yourself in the language. Why? Because they're going to give you the feedback the fastest. They will give it to you instantly. They will correct you on the spot. And it works the same way in business with growth. You don't need another year of planning. You need to put your offer out there, run the workshop, start the thing, start the project, and then let the market tell you if they liked it or not. Do they want it or do they not want it? What do they like about it? What do they not like about it? The slower your feedback loop, the slower your progress. The faster your feedback loop, the faster you get there. Step number 4, intensify your focus. Most people slow themselves down because they are drowning in distractions. They've got 10 tabs open in their brain at all times. What's happening in the news over here? What's happening in sports over here? So there's an endless to-do list at home and there's an endless to-do list at work and my goals are over here. And see what happens is you spread yourself so thin that you never get traction anywhere. And here's the pattern I've seen over and over and over again with all of the entrepreneurs that I know. The ones who get the results the fastest are not balanced in life. They're not paying attention to what's going on over here, and over here. They're obsessed with their one thing. And so they zoom in on that one thing that actually moves the needle and then they ignore everything else. Most people do the opposite. They obsess over distractions and ignore the one thing that would actually change their life. So I think we've been sold a lie as society that being really balanced is the goal of life. But when you actually look at people who are achieving the most and making the biggest impact in the world, they're not balanced, they're all in. So if you are in a season of growth, just know that you're going to be out of balance. And that's exactly how it should be. But if you're not where you want to be in life right now, if you're in a season of growth, you are not supposed to feel balanced. You're supposed to feel focused. Focus is intention. Intention means you spend your energy on only the one thing that moves the needle forward. And if it doesn't push you closer to where you want to be, it's a distraction. Look at how much random stuff people carry around in their head all day. They can tell you every detail about this new iPhone that's coming out or the iPhone update that just happened. Or maybe they'll talk about the new Netflix show they're obsessed with. But if you ask them to explain, hey, tell me about that book you just read, something that you learned, or how they grew a skill, most people can't tell you anything. But none of that other trivia that people in your life are obsessed with moves your life forward. I just want to encourage you today, if you feel like everyone else in your life is focusing on things that don't matter, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be focused on you right now. And if you want to go faster, ask yourself, what am I doing right now to move the needle for me? Or is it just noise? And if it's noise, it's okay to cut it out. Because at the end of the day, speed isn't about working harder, it's about eliminating all of the drag. And the drag comes from distraction. Step number 5, implement leverage. If you want to move faster, you need multipliers. What does that mean? A multiplier is anything that lets you get more done with the same effort. So instead of trading 1 unit of your time for 1 unit of progress, leverage lets you trade 1 unit of effort for 10 units of progress. And there are 4 big levers that you can pull to multiply your output and go faster. Other people's time, other people's money, other people's knowledge, and other people's systems. So other people's time means you don't have to do everything yourself. Think about in your home life, if you spend 2 hours a week getting groceries and someone does grocery delivery for you, that gives you back 2 hours that you can spend moving the needle, going faster. The next is other people's money. This is another lever. If this doesn't mean having a huge investor who's going to write you a big check. This could be as simple as pre-selling a course that you're trying to build, getting deposits to fund the thing before you actually build it, which allows you to leverage a cash infusion into your business much earlier instead of spending all of your time and energy creating the thing. So it also allows you to verify if there is demand for your offer before you spend a bunch of time creating that course and building the whole thing out. Another lever is people's knowledge. This is so simple. You could spend years trying to figure it out on your own, or you can take a course, hire a coach, or even ask a friend who's already done it before. And so this shortcut saves you time and money and a lot of wrong turns along the way. The other lever is people's systems. This is the exact step-by-step way of doing something, skipping all of the trial and error. So instead of reinventing the wheel, you grab a process that's already been proven to work. This could be a template, a checklist, a framework, a launch plan. Adopting a system can shave years off your learning curve. Here's how that looked for me. So when I was starting in business, I wanted to inject cash quickly into the business, and I didn't have it all figured out from scratch. So I modeled a system that was simple enough for me to do by running live workshops, master classes. And so instead of guessing on all of the ingredients, on how to structure it, how to price it, how to promote it, I followed the exact steps that had already been tested and proven. So I put together a workshop, promoted it with a handful of emails and posts, collected signups before I delivered it, and ran the workshop. And boom, the revenue came in. And so that cash flow not only gave me breathing room as an entrepreneur, but it helped me reinvest back into the business. And the system gave me the confidence because I wasn't winging it. I was following a step-by-step process, and so I had the roadmap. And that's the power of plugging into other people's systems. You get to bypass all of the wasted years, all of the trial and error, and move straight to what actually works. By the way, if you want my roadmap to doing that, just comment roadmap below and I'll send you for free my roadmap. So implementing the 4 levers allows you to go much faster in your business. And these are the 5 moves. Find a source of inspiration, initiate action before you're ready, iterate quickly, intensify your focus, and implement leverage. If you do these 5 things, you will find yourself arriving at the destination that you thought was so far into the future, so much earlier. And so here's what's really interesting. Once we know how to go so much faster, none of that matters if you don't know how to channel that speed into the right skills and habits that actually produce the money and freedom. And so check out this video next where I show you the exact 3 millionaire habits that changed my life. I'll see you over there.